I just curious. It's been a long time coming for you, obviously, to get back into a training camp. What has the last couple of weeks been like leading up to this, and during these circumstances, especially just getting back to actually doing some football?
It's been nerve wracking, honestly. Just just so ecstatic just to get back in the building. Put a jersey on, put my helmet back on, just get around the guys, feel the camaraderie in the locker room, and just that friendship, that bond that you get with that comes with a team. I think I missed that a lot over the last 12, 14 months. So, I was it just felt too good to be true. And honestly, I know we have a lot going on, but I was so excited just to get back in the swing of things. I kind of overlooked it.
Hey, Trent, what are your impressions been? I mean, just maybe from what you saw last year of Nick Bosa, and will that be a fun challenge to face him in camp?
Yeah, most certainly. I think he's going to be a one of the pivotal reasons how I mean, I ain't gonna say reason, but he's going to be a pivotal tool for me to use to knock the rust off and for me to get probably one of the biggest challenges that I can face all year is Nick. I think he's one of the top 4 or 5 rushers in the game, and to get that work and to be able to have that every day, and we can kind of bounce ideas off each other and talk each other through it. I think it's going to work out in best case for me, and I hope definitely he gains just as much as I do from it.
Hey, Trent, how seriously did you consider or give thought to the option of opting out for this season due to the health issues, and what ultimately swayed you that this was the right thing to do?
To be honest, I ain't even give it a thought of opting out. I didn't play last year, so if I don't play this year, it's gonna be by force, not by option. So, um, you know, I have nothing against guys who opt out. I think everybody has their own situation to think through and to work out. But me personally, it wasn't an option for me.
Hey Trent, Kiana here.
Hey, what's
I
going on?
asked Raheem Mostert yesterday about the vibe around the team. One being everybody's first time back since February, but two coming off of that loss. He said even walkthroughs feel like a run through because there's so much fire under everybody. But as a guy who's new to the team, do you sense this at all? Can you sense some sort of energy or fire under the guys there?
Oh, most certainly. I mean, the walkthrough. He said it was a run through. I said it was a game. But coming from where I came from, walkthrough was a walkthrough. I mean, our walkthrough here was, it's pretty intense. A lot of focus, a lot of attention to detail, and guys are flying around. And yeah, that you can tell this is a hungry group of guys, and I feel like I fit right in.
Trent, you mentioned rust. Have you been able to gauge where you are as in terms of the rust factor? And I believe pads go on for the first time on August 17. Are you looking forward to that date? And is that the point that you can really start to gauge that rust element?
I think so. I think just getting back in the swing of things, going through walkthrough, doing conditioning and strength and and all that, weight workouts and I don't feel the rush yet, but like you said, when the pads come on, I think that's when you get your real determining factor. So I'm gonna wait till then and kind of give you my, synopsis on it.
Trent, this is Chris Biederman from the Sacramento Bee. Obviously, you've talked about the energy on the practice field already, but I'm just coming from the organization that you're coming from. I don't think it was necessarily known for having a winning culture. Have you been able to notice that the winning culture already? And are there any specific things you could point to as examples?
Yeah, I mean, no specific things, but as soon as you walk in this building, the vibe is different. I think my first team meeting before it even started, I can, first time of us all being together, I could just feel the vibe then and just, this environment here that Kyle has created, John has created, I think they've done an outstanding job. They got a bunch of like-minded fellas in the locker room and, I think everybody feeds off each other and everybody encourages each other. And it's just one of those things that you got to experience to believe.
Hey, Trent, this is Tracy Sandler. Do you have any trepidation at all about getting back onto the field among COVID? And how are you feeling about not having fans in the stadium?
It's gonna be weird not to have fans, but a majority of the football we play is nobody watching us, So you go through practice and you go through scrimmages, and we've been playing this game our whole life. So I mean, it's the fans make this sport. They make this sport what it is. They make it game days. They make it, they get that extra cherry on top that just makes the experience, a dream. But you know, the game is the game, whether there's fans there or not, and we have to execute. And I think that's as a professionals, that's all we can kind of hang our hat on is that we got to be professionals and play the game when it's probably not the easiest thing. You got, like Jimmy said, you got to bring your own juice. I think the NBA is kind of showing us that it can be done virtually, and I think they're doing a great job with that. So I mean, I'm encouraged by that, and I think we'll be okay.
Hey, Trent, this is David Lombardi from The Athletic. You're familiar with Kyle's system, obviously, being in it and the versatility that he demands from his blockers because of the outside zone. It seems that he's, besides you and the linemen, it seems that he's stocked up on some big receivers that can block in space and tight ends as well. I was hoping to get your outlook, even though pads haven't come on how effectively you think this personnel is going to come together to be able to block for Kyle's system in that outside zone in space, given you and the big bodies he has at receiver and tight end.
Yeah, I think it goes back to his dad's philosophy. When I came into the NFL in 2010, that was his biggest thing for wide receivers. If you couldn't block, you couldn't play. And I think that was one of the things that they instilled in the wide receiver group, every team they went to. And I think you can tell because he's been able to motivate guys who, generally just catching balls and scoring touchdowns to be, selfless and block downfield and put their bodies on the line for their teammates. And that's just part of the culture that he's provided for San Francisco. And I think we're benefiting from it. You can tell that the guys that he has in that receiving room and the tight ends room, they have zero problems with blocking. And I think um, that's probably where a lot of success kind of hinges on. I mean, the O-line is pretty important, but we're just one level. Those home run style runs that you see, Raheem, and you've seen from this offense this past year and a half. I think that's a direct reflection of wide receivers blocking downfield.
Hey, Trent, Jennifer Lee Chan. Hey, can you talk to us about how Kyle Shanahan's play calling maybe has developed and evolved since you've seen him? And then also he said you put in a good word about Jordan Reed. Can you tell us a little bit about what you shared about him?
Yeah, so our conversation about Jordan, I think Cal obviously drafted Jordan, so it was I didn't have to talk him into tell him how good a player he was. I think that's proven. I think that's, well documented. I think I just kind of gave him a little insight because Jordan's one of my closer friends. To just how he was really feeling and how and where his mental state was, and I think that they was comfortable with that, so they kind of pulled the trigger on, which I think he's going to make this team just that much better. What was the first question?
Just what you've seen from Kyle's play calling, has it evolved since
Oh,
you've been working with him before?
yeah. We hadn't played a game, so I can't tell you about the play calling, but from what I've noticed, it's just Cal has always been a mastermind as far as schemes and and kind of knowing where the weaknesses are in the defense and knowing how to attack them. So, I obviously he's been to two Super Bowls since we've last been together. So I think that probably could speak louder than any words that I can say. But I think he's at the forefront for those innovative offensive head coaches, and I think we're kind of lucky to have him.
Hey, Trent, Kyle Posey, Niners Nation. I was wondering, I have a two-parter for you. So I was wondering first, you've been talking about the rust. what's your biggest challenge personally from coming back? And then second, one player on each side of the ball for the 49ers you're most looking forward to seeing.
What was the last part? You said
One player on the 49ers that you're just most looking forward to seeing just early on here.
oh, I think so to answer your first question, as far as the rust, I mean, for me, I think the nerves is the biggest part. I've been playing this game my entire life, so I don't think I would forget how to do it in just a year. But I think it's just the nerves and just settling down the excitement of just being out there and just kind of, calming myself down and just taking deep breaths and just not spinning myself, on the first few plays just because I'm just overly excited to be out there. I think that's probably gonna be my bigger challenge, as more so than just not. I mean, the rust and playing. I think I can handle that. And as far as who I'm most looking forward to seeing, man, I'm looking forward to seeing Jet. And at the 2 years, kind of, the way he's looked in the off season, I just can't fathom him not being a breakout player. Obviously, I want to see George up close. That's going to be exciting. And seeing that defense, man, seeing those linebackers, the three linebackers we have, seeing how they fly around, seeing how well the DBs communicate, and seeing how freakish the D line is. I just want to get this team to a game just so I can, it feels like college again. Just when we had three of the top four picks in the draft. That's I haven't got that feeling since then.
Trent, this is Cam Inman of the San Jose Mercury News. I believe you blocked for probably about 6 starting quarterbacks at Washington, even though it may seem like more. What are your first impressions of Jimmy Garoppolo from this week and maybe earlier?
I mean, I think the player is that he is well documented, but as a person, I think he's the most down to earth most down to earth guys you'll meet. To be probably the hottest thing walking around this Bay Area. He is a very laid back, very welcoming guy. So I just can't wait to get started, man. It's literally, I feel like it's gonna be a blast, and you know I can't say enough good things about this team.
Hey, William Hammons here, Sports Fans Rap. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. I was wondering, had you had a chance to talk with Richard Sherman, particularly in regards to coming back after an injury and working with him? And then secondly, being a former Washington team member, any thoughts on a new name for that team?
To answer the Sherman question, no, I hadn't. I mean, me and Sherman, we talked a lot. I mean, even when I didn't join the team, over the past 7 years, we've kind of built a pretty good friendship. So, we always kept tabs on each other. I didn't never really ask him about how it was to come back from injury, but I've experienced. I know how it is to come back. I think my situation is a bit different. I'm not injured. I'm 100% healthy. So I think it's just a little different from coming off injury. As far as the football team now, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, Washington football team sounds kind of weird. I can say that.